All right, good morning, year 11s, and welcome back to remote learning. The first part of today is going to be ethical considerations in terms of inventory. Um, so, what do you think are the ethical considerations? What would you consider when you're buying your inventory? So now we all know inventory is the stock of materials that you have. What should you consider when you're buying the inventory? Okay, let's look at what we need. Now, ethics are the social and environmental consequences of a financial decision. Okay, so we all know um, when we make decisions, we have to be ethical. Okay, there are many things we've been talking about ethical considerations since the start of this year. So, ethics are very important, especially in terms of accounting and business. Um, what ethical issues can a business potentially face in regards to inventory? Right, let's look at some of the examples there. Yep, that's it. So ensuring products inventory are sourced from suppliers that provide safe working conditions and fair wages. Okay, so we have to make sure when we are sourcing the inventory, we are sourcing it from the businesses who provide safe working conditions. So they're treating their employees respectfully and they're paying the right amount of wages. Okay, for example, no sweet shops or nor those engaging in child labor. So any people who are engaging in child labor, you shouldn't be sourcing your inventory from them. This is particularly important when you're trying to source materials from overseas. Okay, from overseas supplier. If you're unable to find out what their work is, if they're providing safe working environment or they're paying good wages or they're not using the child labor, then you shouldn't be actually hiring them. So you should make sure this is the ethics. Okay, ensuring products inventory are sustainable or environmentally friendly. So in business management also we've been talking about sustainable and environmentally friendly product. So when you're sourcing inventory, again, make sure it is not doing any harm to the environment, and sustainable means you can what do we call that word, you can dispose that off nicely. Okay, so not ending into landfill or doing harm to our environment. Okay, ensuring products or inventory, you can call it either products or inventory. I'll just call it inventory because that's the relevant word to accounting. So ensuring inventory meets the minimum safety standards. Okay, so whatever inventory you are sourcing, because you're going to on-sell it to the customer, you have to make sure that it is safe for everyone to use. Okay, it doesn't matter if the looks of it has to be meeting the standards of performance. Composition means the materials used, components, again some of the materials used to make that inventory, to make that product. Packaging and labeling. Okay, so the plastic or anything that is being used, it has to be safe for use by anyone who handles that product. Okay, ensuring inventory is faithfully represented of its true value. Again, this is very important. Faithful representation, we've been talking about this as well. This is one of the characteristics of faithful representation. Again, the price you've paid for the inventory, it should be reflected at the same price, not less, not more. Okay, you shouldn't be altering your accounts just to show less profit or more profit. It is the faithful representation to show the true value of your inventory. Okay, are there any other things that you can think you need to consider for inventory? If you do, just message me, and then we'll go from there. All right, now this is an example. So in this one, you just assume new supplier does not pay fair wages, so we'll just have this assumption. So the scenario here is Harry owns Fair to You, so this is his business name, which is a business that specializes in selling jewelry produced overseas by businesses that pay fair wages. Okay, Harry has been approached by a new supplier who has offered to sell him similar jewelry. Okay, so not the same, it is the similar, almost the same, at around 75% of his current cost price. 75% of his current cost price means he's going to save 25% of the money. Okay, so he's going to pay 25% less money if he buys the materials from new suppliers. Okay, and who has also offered him 60-day payment term. So if you remember, we've been talking about source documents. When they purchase items on credit, they have time to make the payment. So this new supplier is offering him 60-day payment term, so he can make payment up until the 60 days. Okay, once he purchases the material. All right. As Fair to You, again the business name, has been having significant cash flow issues recently. Now, cash flow issues are very important for any business, because it doesn't matter how good the business is doing, how good the books are looking. If they don't have enough cash flow, then their business is not actually doing good. They have to have money to run day-to-day expenses of the business. Okay, the operating expenses of any business. If there's not enough cash flow, you're not going to be having money to pay your employees. You're not going to have money to pay your bills. Okay, so that is not a good situation to be in. There has to be good cash flow for any business. Again, the business is having significant cash flow issues recently, which has made it difficult to pay employees on time. Harry, so the business owner, is considering using the new supplier for some of his inventory purchases. Okay, so he's looking at using new supplier, paying 25% of less cost. It is going to cost him 25% less, and give him 60-day payment terms. Okay, as the majority of his business inventory will still come from the business paying fair wages, he does not believe that he needs to highlight the change in inventory to his customers. Okay, now we are assuming here that the new supplier does not pay fair wages. So he's saying majority of his supply is still coming from the supplier who pays fair wages. He's just going to source some of the inventory from the new supplier, and he doesn't need to tell the customer. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to analyze the ethical considerations of Harry's decision not to inform his customers of the change in inventory. Okay, now again you are going to write this answer, but before you go and write this answer, I just want to talk about about the task word. Now, first of all, you need to consider what are the ethical issues raised in Harry's situation. Talk about them. Why would Harry consider changing suppliers? Okay, so you need to talk about them because of the payment terms, less cost, okay, and cash flow as well. So there's 3 reasons for him to consider changing suppliers, and you have to talk about the ethical issues. Okay, so low wages, not paying fair wages. Now you are answering this question, but let me go through the task word. So analyze is the task word here. The information is going to stay the same for year 11 and year 12. Whatever I'm teaching in this semester is not going to change for year 12. Okay, so make sure you're retaining this information, taking lots of notes down. Now when you're talking about analyze question, you identify the main features, then you examine it closely. Okay, and show how the parts relate to the whole, and provide an opinion, conclusion, or recommendation. Okay, so when it is an analyze question, you have to tell me whether what do you think, if this is correct, the Harry's decision is correct or incorrect. Okay, pay attention to the marks allocated to understand how many points to potentially address. Sometimes these questions are marked globally. Okay, so at this stage, if you answer these 2 questions properly and provide your recommendation at the end, what do you think about the Harry's decision of not informing his customers, then most likely you'll get good mark, but make sure you are providing detailed information. Okay, so go on and write the answer to this question. This is worth 4 marks, and we will go from there. So once you write this answer, check my post on Teams, and we'll do a voice conference after. Okay, have a good day everyone. Bye bye.